Hello everyone, this is lesson 77, multi-step division number stories for 4th grade, page 245. So let's jump right in. You're going to notice chapter 7, the latter portion, is going to be diving into division. So with that in mind, let's get to it. For each problem, make an estimate and solve, then answer the questions. So I actually already underlined some key pieces of information, and you can follow along as I read as we try to figure out what's actually going on here. So Margaret and her friend have 2 summer job offers. A job babysitting is for 8 hours each week. With Margaret and her friend both working this job, they would earn $208 each week. A summer camp job is for 7 hours each week, and together they would earn $210 each week. Which job pays more per hour for each girl? How much more per hour? So let's dive into the information that we need. We're doing a lot of diving. I feel like I'm going back to that phrase a lot here. I'm going to go over to my notebook, which is going to really help us out for this lesson. Just having a separate piece of paper, it can be a scrap piece of paper, it can be literally anything you can write on. If you have a dry erase board, cool. If you have enough room and that works for you, whatever. So let's break this thing down. We've got 2 jobs, and we need to figure out which one's going to pay them more. They're trying to decide what's the better opportunity for us. So I'm going to go ahead and create literally a babysitting category, because that was the first job. And do you remember what the second job is here? Babysitting job, summer camp. So let's do tail the tape, they used to call it, when you compare 2 things, how they match up with each other. So the babysitting job is for 8 hours each week, 8 hours per week. This / can mean per. And summer camp is for 7 hours each week. Cool. And now how much would they earn at the end of that week? Babysitting, they would earn $208. And summer camp, can we see it? $210. Cool. So the next step is we need to figure out who pays more per hour. And they want us, again, I always forget this step, but I'm not going to forget it today, I don't think. They want us to estimate first. And remember, the reason we estimate is so when we find the real answer, we can tell if we're in the ballpark. It means if our answer makes sense. If our estimate is 4 and our real answer is 2,329, that should be a red alert that something went wrong. So estimating does have a purpose. Okay, so we're going to start with babysitting. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. I can hear my cat like scratching at the door. I wonder if I should let her in. She has stopped. Okay. Okay, I have to let her in. Hang on. Okay. The cat is in the room. Let's get down to it. We need to estimate. Remember, when we estimate, we want to work with things that end in 0 or 5, just something that we can divide really easily in our heads. So, there goes my cat. So, let's take a look at 208. What can we round 208 to that may have a 0 or a 5 in it? And, okay, thanks, cat. And I'm thinking, there we go. I'm thinking that we could round 208 to 200. And so there's that. And what do you think we... Okay, she's also on my computer. All right. So we have 200. We also need to round the per hour, or the hours per week. I'm so sorry. And I know I can round 8. It's really close to the number 10. So we can take our 8 and turn them to a 10, and the 208 and turn them into a 200. So now what we're left, I'm going to teach you and show you how we can find how much we'll earn per week babysitting. And to find that answer, you take the total amount of money that you earned and you divide it by the hours that you worked. So since we've already done a bit of rounding here, we're left with 200 divided by 10. And I know 10 goes into 100 10 times. So 10 must go into 200 20 times. So our estimate here will be about $20 an hour. Now, the thing we'll have to do here, sorry, as I'm thinking about this, something already kind of sticks out in my head, and that's that like $20 an hour for babysitting is a ton. But I just realized there's something we need to think about here. We're not just measuring how much one girl makes, it'll be how much both girls make. So this total is for both Margaret and her friend. That means they'll have to split it between them. Okay, so I'm going to ask you one more. If we have $20, if we have $20 and we split it between 2 people, what do we get? We get $10 per person. Okay, so this was, I know, a bit of an interruption with the cat. Let me walk you through what we did. We had 8 hours a week for a total of $208. We needed to estimate, so we rounded 208 to 200. We rounded 8 to 10. And to find how much we make per hour, you take 200, divide it by 10, we got 20. However, the 20 has to be split between 2 girls, so 20 divided by 2 is 10. So the estimated per hour number for babysitting is $10 per Margaret and then per her friend. Let's try summer camp 2. All right, we're going to round 210. I think we can round that to 200 as well. And 7, let's see, where can we round that? Do we want to go to 5 or do we want to go to 10? And it's, let me round it to 10. And if you're really paying close attention here, which I know is hard with a cat roaming underneath the camera every few seconds, you may notice that we ended up with the same estimates here. 200 divided by 10, 200 divided by 10. So we already know the answers. 20. And then we still have to split it between 2 people. So the estimate for summer camp and babysitting is each girl will make approximately $10 an hour. So that tells us this is going to be really close. It's not going to be like a runaway choice here. So let's get to our estimate. And I'm going to abbreviate and say SC equals 10 per hour. And babysitting, also 10 per hour. Here comes the cat. And there goes the cat. Now, since I did most of my work here, if you did your work on a separate piece of paper, then there's not a lot you have to write down here, just the estimates themselves. Now let's get down to the actual answer here. I'm going to go back to my line piece of paper, and this time instead of estimating, we're going to do the real division. We're going to take 208 and divide by 8. If you want to use a calculator, I will allow it. If you want to practice your partial quotients, that's cool too. So how many times does 8 go into 208? Well, I know 8 times 2 is 16. So 8 times 20 would be 16 with a 0 on it, 160. So that's a big chunk off. That leaves us with 8. Need to borrow. That leaves us with 48. And I know 8 goes into 48. Let me think. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. So combined, these girls would make, we need to add this side up, 20 plus 6 equals 26. You can check on your calculator to see if that's correct. I'm kind of going fast here. So you just want to check 208 divided by 8. I would check on my own computer, but after the cat stepped on it, I have like 24 different boxes popping up. I think my computer is going to melt down. Let's shift over and try summer camp. We'll stick with $26 per hour for 2 people. And remember, we're going to have to split this to figure out how much each of them gets individually. We'll do that in a moment. So on this side, summer camp was paying $210. And that was for only 7 hours a week. So we are doing, oh, I see something here. We're doing 210 divided by 7. And I know that 7 goes into 21 3 times. That clicks right in our heads. And I think a lot of us know our 7s. 7 times 1 is 7, 7 times 2 is 14, and then 21. And I see a 21. So that tells me, I bet we can do 7 times, not 3, but what if we did 7 times 30? 7 times 3 is 21. Add the 0. That's perfect. That'll be a really fast partial quotients problem. So that one's done. So here's what we're left with. Summer camp will pay both girls a combined $30 per hour. Babysitting will pay a combined $26 an hour. So we want to go ahead and split between, this is 26 for 2 people. So how do we split that? Well, we're going to do 26 divided by 2. We need to split it between Margaret and her friend. This is the total amount of money they're getting all together. They have to split it right down the middle. And 26 divided by 2, again, you can use a calculator, or you can say, well, I know 2 goes into 20 10 times. 22 would be 11, 24 would be 12, 26 would be 13. So each girl gets $13 per hour. Now, let's look at $30 an hour. We need to split that between 2 people too, because it's for Margaret and her friend. So 30 divided by 2 is basically like saying what's half of 30. And I know in my head that half of 30 is going to be 15 right on the dot. Okay, so babysitting will get each girl $13 an hour. Well, summer camp will get them $15 an hour. So let's go to our page here. And which job pays more? And that kind of, we walked ourselves into an answer. We found out that it looked like if babysitting is 13 per hour and summer camp is 15, well, we're taking that summer camp job. And if we look back, how much more per hour do they pay? $2. And then lastly, the equation that we need to solve here really is something that we basically already did. We did 208 divided by 8. And then that was divided by 2. And then we also had, I believe it was, oh, this one's got to go first. Pardon, this whole lesson's been a mess ever since the cat showed up. I'm going to try to squeeze this in. We also had 210 divided by 7 divided by 2. And when we subtract, oh, the cat is now in the closet. When we subtracted that, we got a difference of $2. Oh my gosh, if you did not catch any of that, I can't blame you. Comment, question, whatever, hit me up. Otherwise, I hope this helped a teeny bit, and I hope you enjoyed meeting my cat. Goodbye.